Hello, my name is Nicolas Polymenakos. I work here at the Northwest Astrological Conference, otherwise known as NORWAC, which is happening May 21st to May 25th in person and also online. Today I'm with Catherine Irvin. Hi, Catherine.
Hello, Nicolas. Thank you so much for having me back to chat with you today.
Yeah, good to see you. You were a speaker last year at the conference. Yes?
Yeah, it was tons of fun. Gosh,
Yeah.
I don't think I that's the most fun I've had in a long time. I'm so excited to go back.
Yeah, it was. I noticed too. It was your first time speaking there, correct?
It was.
Yeah, so I'm sure it was interesting too. I think in situations like that, like these days, we do a lot of things online, and then you're in person with people. And I remember seeing your room was full. That was the first thing, and then second, I all these people there, and that must have been interesting to have that reflected back towards you,
It
in person.
is, like it's just so beautiful. Like I just am so grateful to be a part of this beautiful community of astrology and we build community online and then to meet people in person, it is a different experience, but also just how welcoming our community is and how when you're sitting at a table with a bunch of astrologers, you're all equals. You're all fascinated by the same thing. You all speak the same language. And like, it doesn't matter what kind of astrology you practice, how long you've been practicing astrology. It's just like we're all joined by the love for our craft. And that's just one of the most beautiful things I find about conferences.
Yeah, as someone who's been helping for a long time with the conference, and I can remember when I was first there, first couple of years. So other people who it's the first time there, whether it's this year, online or in person or whatever, you go in there, you don't know what to expect, and you're excited. And there's people that speakers that you only see on YouTube maybe, and then you meet them in person. You realize, yeah, regardless of the knowledge level, you are equals. You do share that this love of this language, of astrology. So I'm with you on that one. I'm pretty psyched for the conference. For those interested, you can go to norwac.net to see all the schedule, the speaker bios, the pre and post conference lectures. You are speaking twice, Catherine, here, and you got an interesting here. Saturday morning keynote lecture is how you start off the conference for yourself. This is I gotta say here, because after being in the conference for a while, the keynotes they have this gravitas. There's certain things they're there, and the certain ones they have a meaning to them. And you notice it over the years. You have a Saturday keynote. It is called Prediction, Life or Death. You're just getting straight to the point there, Catherine.
Yeah.
Tell us about it.
I mean, I was intentionally being edgy with the title. Um,
Yeah.
I do have a Scorpio moon, so had to. So we will not be talking about predicting death. That's not what we're doing in this lecture.
Mhm.
Um, but basically, if you enjoy stories from astrological history, stories about astrologers who were elevated by their predictive abilities, and similarly, astrologers who faced like punishment or
Uh,
even death for their predictive abilities. So I'm going to be exploring that dynamic a bit. So if you like stories about astrologers from history and the use of astrology in history as a political tool, come on down. I've got some great stories to share.
this isn't tied in, but it is because I saw something today about a shop. It was a young woman who owns a witchcraft shop, and they were getting people protesting against the shop coming from the outside source. And you would think in this day and age that we wouldn't deal with that anymore, but there's always been a sense of re- rebellion towards or persecution of. I can also think of two people on a simple level that can be in certain parts and communities where if they even say that I'm an astrologer. Like, what do you do? I'm an astrologer, and they can catch blowback, so they won't say anything. Over
Yeah.
the years in Norwalk, I would always meet people who were brilliant astrologers in the crowd attending. And like, what do you do? And like, oh, I'm a bookkeeper by day, but they're a brilliant astrologer by night. But they had to be really secretive
Yeah.
about it. So I'm sure some of the stories here touch upon themes like that, correct? So,
Yep, exactly. So what you're describing, Nicholas, I often refer to as the astrologer wound. Some
ah,
people are familiar with the idea of the witch wound and just this sense of that we are tied um beyond like our human family, like, how genetics sort of like pass stories down within our bodies, but there's this idea that we're bound to our lineage of our craft. And so tapping into that zeitgeist, that energy of astrological practice, there is something that you do inherit in terms of the historical burden of being an astrologer, and not just burden though. I mean, there were times in history where practicing astrology was considered to be very noble,
yeah.
and it and lofty and elevated a person. And so we also carry that forward. And so I will be sort of exploring this astrologer wound and implications in our modern practice, what significance prediction plays in our modern
Uh,
practice as well. So I'm kind of bringing it into the present as well.
Yeah, definitely. I think, yeah, great choice on a lecture topic and stuff. And that's, again, that's happening Saturday morning, 9 a.m. Pacific. For those, I still some tickets left in person. If you're interested in showing up in person just outside of Seattle, you can go to the website norwac.net. Also, you can join us virtually. You can go for the whole weekend. You can go a la carte by the day. You also, for everybody attending the weekend, after the conference is done, you have several weeks to view all the lectures too, so you can do that at your leisure. Anyway, everything is there at norwac.net. On Sunday of the conference, you have a lecture at 3:45 p.m. Pacific. It's called Patterns in the Solar Return. One of my favorite techniques to use, which has changed over the years for me. There's different views and ways of doing this. In what way will you talk about the solar return here, the patterns that you mentioned here in the lecture?
Yeah, so I agree with you. Solar returns have really shifted in the way that many people approach them, and I'm so grateful for that knowledge because now solar returns make more sense for me and many others than they ever have before. And yeah, solar returns are kind of like the crux of my practice. It's what I kind of root most of my forecasts in. And so I'm really excited to talk about specifically ascendant patterns
Hmm.
in the solar return. So I was a little vague on that one. I didn't want there to be spoilers. Um, but I will share that I'm going to be talking specifically about ascendant patterns.
Okay. Yeah, no, that's good. We won't drop any more there. I think it's interesting what you just said because certain people following and if they different ways they've read about solar returns and delineating and all that, there's several different ways. I think we all end up in the same place. But I understand what you're saying, Catherine, with that. Psyched for this one. Again, it's at 3:45 p.m. Pacific. For the last couple years online, we have these Q&As that happen in between the lecture tracks. So basically, there's 40 minutes in between each lecture. Everyone's running around. They're getting a drink and a coffee. They're doing that. Online, some speakers come in for Q&As that Lara Nalbanian, our host and speaker, facilitates. Sometimes I facilitate them. You are part of a Q&A that's going to happen here on Saturday. I'm trying to, yeah, you're at 11:50 a.m. Your Q&A is interesting here. It's yourself, Andrea Gertz, Jason Holly, and Austin Kopic. So we've got a lot of brain power there. And the chat gets to ask questions and usually turns into a free-flowing improvisational conversation in that time. Were you part of one last year, Catherine?
Yeah,
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 they're
yeah. I
interesting.
love those. Those are fun. And
Yeah, they're. Go ahead.
it's a great opportunity to engage with those who are attending virtually. And I like the spontaneity of like a miniature panel. I love it. It's such a great idea.
Yeah, and then all of a sudden we do it, and it's very stimulating and done. Everybody's going to the next lecture.
I know.
So, besides the Q&As, there's a couple things happening this year. Our host Samantha Hammer has a Saturday night party online for those viewing. Samantha and I are also going to host an open house like on Thursday from 5 to 7 p.m. Pacific. I'll be there in person. She'll be at a line. We're going to open up the rooms and help bringing everybody in and say hello and stuff. So
Cool.
yeah, again, anybody's interested, you can go to norwac.net, see the schedules, all the information's there, the registration rates, etc. Catherine, I don't know when we met. I don't know
We
when.
met we met at ESAR in Colorado. I think it was
Oh, at the conference
2022.
there. That's
Yeah.
right. It was there. It was there that we met. Yeah, and so much has happened from that point till now. Um, I'm again. It was great to see you at NORWAC last year, and then here you are again, and it'll be good to see you in person again.
I know. Well, it's beautiful to see all the work that you're doing, Nicholas, as well for the community. And I want to congratulate you here as well on your Marion March nomination.
Thank you
It's
for
amazing.
that. Yeah, it's a weird position to be in, but uh, but humbled, like really cool. Surprised, and all in all, everyone I think has a role in a community and what they do, and sometimes you find yourself in places, and it's like you're there for a reason, right?
Yeah.
And sometimes we do that with clients, right? We do that with clients. Where am I going? Or this is happening. And we see it reflected in the astrology. And we know that then, in one sense, we're connected to the world and the nature and to divinity. And for me, if something like this is part of a story like that, so I already feel like I've won something because I feel like, oh, I'm dialed in. I'm good.
Yeah.
So, and it's also if I get to help anybody else, support anybody else in the community. But I'm not the only one. Everybody else in that category that I'm nominated with too has their own roles in it. And we're all friends. So
I
regardless,
know.
we're all going to celebrate. So
Yeah, it's just cool to be recognized by your community in any which way.
yeah, yeah. So thank you, Catherine. By the
Yeah.
yeah. Um, Again, anybody interested in going to Norwalk online and in person, you can go to norwac.net. I'll see you soon, Catherine.
Bye, Nicholas. See you all there.
See ya.